Hi everyone, this is our live video here. This is to talk about the upcoming and planned on the buses walking tour in springtime. Just filling a few details for you today now. I've decided on a date. And you can use this any questions if you're watching. If you've got any questions, just post them up and I'll answer them for you as soon as I can, as soon as I see them on the screen. So the walking tour will take place on Sunday, April the 27th. So that's about just over 2 months away. So if you're interested in coming to that, pencil that date in your diary, Sunday, April the 27th, and we'll be making our first visit to Peckham. Peckham is rich on the bus's filming locations from Series 7. So we'll be visiting locations and episodes from the football match, from the allowance, from Olive's divorce, from gardening time. So there's plenty of filming locations to take in. I think it's somewhere between, off the top of my head, I'd say it would probably be somewhere between 30 and 50. So there's certainly a lot of locations to take in. The meeting point at the moment, the best point I can find to meet at, it's normally always best to find to meet up outside our transport hub that people will be using to get to these locations. It will be the best that I can find that's within the best walking distance is East Dulwich Station. So it'll be East Dulwich Station to meet up in. And from there, it'll be a case of a walk of maybe about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile to the main body of the filming locations. I'm just figuring out like the route to walk as well. So I would want to take in the football match filming locations, which it's a little bit awkward to do that. So I think what we'll probably decide on doing is we'll just walk, because the football match locations are sort of like north of East Dulwich Station. So it's heading in the opposite direction from the main body of filming locations. So I think the best way to do it would be to walk down to the main body of filming locations first and take them all in, then do a sort of loop and then walk back to East Dulwich Station where it will all end. But before it ends, if anybody's still feeling up to it, I can walk you up to the football match locations, which is just a little bit north of East Dulwich Station. So it'll be like a sort of loop that we'll be walking in to take them all in. It'll be the usual fee of £10. If you're bringing along, if there's any kids that are under the age of 12, they'll go free. Anyone between 12 and 16, it'll be a £5 charge. There is a little coffee shop that's down right in the heart of where the filming locations are in Peckham Park. So that's around about the halfway mark. So we can always have a little break there around the halfway mark and have a tea in a coffee shop. If you want to go in and buy yourself a coffee, then that's fine. As I said, the total walking distance, I would imagine, is going to be somewhere around about maybe 2 miles, maybe 2.5 miles in total. So if it's, you've got to be aware that there's a lot of walking involved. We've not done Peckham before, that's why I wanted to do this again. Done Boreham Wood a few times, done Wembley, done Enfield. The problem with Enfield's locations are there's not really all that many, apart from your cemetery gates and the ones round by the train station. There's more on the right out in the countryside and then field, but it's a bus journey to get to, so it sort of rules out doing Enfield. Wembley's doable in the future, as is Lambeth. I wouldn't mind having a crack at doing Lambeth as well. There's a fair few in the Lambeth area. That might take a little bit more in terms of walking and planning, see how many locations you can scoop up in that area. There is another locations that are Brenchley Gardens, which is just a little bit further south of Peckham, but I don't think it's really doable to expect people to walk to there. It's that would probably stretch the walking distance of the tour to something sort of like really testing to around about maybe 4 miles. So we'd have to give that one a miss. So if anyone's got any questions, you know what you can do, just post them up on the side here and I'll answer them as soon as I see them on the screen. And any questions at all about it, then I'll answer them straight away. A lot of you that are probably interested in coming, you know how it all works anyway. If you've been to the Wood Green tour or the Boreham Wood tour, or Wembley, or tours that I've done in the past. But any questions, just post them up here and I'll answer them for you. And I'll also post up for anyone that comes along and are interested or they join it late. I'll just post up the details here as well to save myself keep repeating them again. Now, as for the time it will start at, obviously then we'll have a little bit more daylight hours. Obviously it'll be moving on towards mid to late spring then, 27th of April. We'll have much more daylight hours, so there won't be a sort of like need to leave too early. We'll have plenty of daylight hours by then. So probably a time to start will probably maybe be around about I'd say maybe 11:30, just to allow people to get there from central London transport wise, so you've got plenty of time to get there. And the start, as I said earlier, I'll just post these up, as I said, up here, so that anyone joining late will be able to see for themselves whereabout it is. So that's where it will start, and we'll end at the same place, East Dulwich Station. And I do get asked as well, some people often ask about whether it's okay to bring pets along. Yeah, that's fine. I've got no problems. Anyone wants to bring pets along. So that's for all the details that are up there. So if you've got any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. the route that will take us. So basically, if you want to plan it for yourself and see, measure it out on Google Maps or such like, we'll come out East Dulwich Station, take a turn to your right onto what is the A2216. Probably about a 200-metre walk, and then take our left-hand turn onto East Dulwich Road, which takes us past Goose Green. Then about 400-500 metres, maybe 600 metres onto the park, Peckham Park, where the main body of filming locations and two clusters are. So the north area of East Dulwich Park, then we'll walk to the south area of East Dulwich Park, around the Streckers Road area, taking our coffee. There's a venue there, a little stall that sells coffees. People can get a coffee at the halfway mark if they want. Then I'll be walking back up Streckers Road, up Peckham Rye, turn left again onto the East Dulwich Road, onto East Dulwich Road along the A2214, and then we'll take in locations up Banfield Road, and then back down Banfield Road, back onto the A2214, and then up Carden Road for more filming locations. And then we'll head back down Carden Road, and then head back in the direction that they've walked back to East Dulwich Station. Yep, cheers for that, folks. Anyone else interested, you can just you can push your interest here, or if you've got any questions at all, I'll stay online for about another 10 minutes, unless there's a big rush of questions and things like that, then I'll stay online a little bit longer. There are various ways to get there, of course, to East Dulwich Station. Most of them will be like an overground train, London overground train to East Dulwich. I'll do bigger research into the bus journeys that you'd need to get there. But buses would probably be, you're probably talking about maybe 3 changes on buses from central London. Unless, of course, you live in the area, of course, and it's just a handy walk to the station, of course. Okay, so as I say, the plan Sunday, 27th of April, from East Dulwich Station, that will be the meet-up point. Around about 11:30 will be the departure time. Probably in terms of how long it will take, depends. A lot depends on the amount of people that turn up and the amount of stops and how able-bodied people are, what sort of pace people can walk at. Be probably, I'd say somewhere around about maybe 2 to 3 hours, I would say off the top of my head. Maybe 3.5 hours if we do stretch it to the football match locations. Yeah, cheers, Ray. Glad people appreciate it. That's what I'd like to see. Be posting up more videos soon, more of the variety of the lost filming locations. Some more of those will be going up in the next few weeks. I do hope to start getting out and about and down once the weather's a little bit kinder, down to more filming locations as well, and do live locations videos again. I will probably try and take 1 or 2 in them on that weekend of the walking tour, and maybe do 1 or 2 while I'm in the area. Oh, that'll be the same as what it normally is. I normally just take payment on the day, so that works the best, I find, rather than doing a ticket-based thing where people send the money and then get a ticket sent out to them. It's just all very sort of like just more cost than posting things off and creating the tickets and stuff. Plus, it sort of tends to rule out the people who maybe decide on the day that they can come. So it's handy just having people turn up on the day, pay on the day, and we take it from there. Oh, it will be as well, cash as well. I do find that you do get some people who come up and say they accept card, but I don't carry around a card reader with me, so it will be cash payments on the day. The episodes covered will be, off the top of my head, this says, I'll type them up as well as I'm saying them for people interested. This is all off the top of my head, obviously. Hi there, Romy One Kenobi. Glad to see you liking them. That's what I like to see. Romy One Kenobi. Plenty to see. Just go back and scroll through. I think there's about 100 videos on the channel now. So expect that. I think it's about up nearly 150, somewhere around that. So there's enough to keep you entertained. I think that's all of the locations, all the episodes. Just trying to think if there's any other ones. Pretty certain that's all there is. I think so. That's 5 episodes. That's covering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes. Sorry. So as you can see, that's almost half of the series took in locations in Peckham. So if you've got any questions on any of that, then you can post them up here and ask away. As I said, the football match locations, I think would probably be best to have them right at the very end, because they're heading in the opposite direction from the end or start point. So I wouldn't want to start and walk up there and then take in the long walk to the other locations. I'd sooner do the main body of locations first. So that's heading away from the football match locations. I'd sooner leave them to the end, and then once we do our loop of the walking tour, and we get back to the East Dulwich station, if anyone's absolutely knackered and they feel that they can't make that final, it's not a far walk, it's only maybe about a 5-minute walk to the football match locations, then they can leave us at East Dulwich station and leave us to go on to those remaining locations there. I think that's the best way of doing it myself. And as I say, I've looked around on maps and all of that, and East Dulwich Station is the best located to get us, give us the shortest walk to the main body of locations. I mean, there is in the opposite direction, east of, just slightly northeast of East Dulwich is Nunhead Station, but that's perhaps a slightly longer walk to the main body of location, so a prompt for East Dulwich. It just wasn't a big viewer pooler, basically. That's why it only lasted that long for seasons to get series. Sorry, I'm speaking American tongue there. For series to get commissioned, they have to have a strong pooling power of viewers. So it just never pulled in enough viewers for LWT to commission it beyond the second series. No, there was no spin-off series for Reg Plant. He done one series of his own, which was Down the Gate, but that was no spin-off series of On the Buses. the spin-off show, there was one planned, obviously, was the Back on the Buses, the reboot, but it wasn't specifically a spin-off, so I don't think that is what you're talking about there. As for Bob and his River Iffy, yeah, he did love Dublin. Well, it's one of those sitcoms, really, isn't it? It just sort of it's a bit like Lol and I mean, people. It amazes me when people come out and say that it hasn't aged well. I mean, I don't see how people can say that, because I still find it funny today. That tells me that it's aged well. If people are just talking about as in people's attitudes and the characters the way that they were, that's just a sign of the times how it was then. But it doesn't mean to say that saying that it's aged badly. I mean, you could, any of the sitcoms that are on today, or say 5-10 years ago, you could say exactly the same for them, because time changes in general. You know, if the only question that really matters is, does it make us laugh? And it still does. Obviously, with the amount of fans there's on the buses around the world. So if you're, those of you that are watching, and if you think you're able to attend, if you just want to post that up and say, yeah, I hope to be there, or no thanks, or you've got other things planned, then that's fair enough. Just so that I can get an early gauge of the amount of numbers that I could expect to turn up for that. That would be really good. Of course, so there's another station as well that sort of was in the vicinity, which is Peckham Rye, but that's even a little bit further away than what Nunhead is. I'm pretty sure Peckham Rye. I'm pretty certain Peckham Rye station, the outside of it, you see it in an episode of the Sweeney when they're chasing someone. I think they chase him over a bridge and out onto the street at the railway station. I'm pretty well nigh certain that's Peckham Rye station. So yeah, just post up if you are watching and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'd like to make that if I can. Then you can always let me know and post it up and say, yeah, hope to be there, or no thanks. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for all the plugs that you put in, by the way, Anthony. It's really good. It helps bring people over when you post up and say on Facebook and all that you're watching blah, blah, blah. You're watching this video, that video of mine's. Every little bit helps of pushing traffic towards the channel. Obviously, it keeps the not the viewing figures ticking over nicely. So that's very much appreciated, Anthony. I do mean that. I mean, because somebody could be one of your friends and it might be an On the Buses fan and say, oh yeah, I'll take a look at that. And so that's pulling in an extra person who might not have known about the channel, or might not have known about the blog or something like that. So every little bit helps. If more people done that, it would be a big help as well, because it's all down to advertising and such like. So every little bit is very welcome indeed. Yeah, so the main body of the filming locations that we'll be visiting are based around two areas, which is like the Peckham Rye Park and Common area and Banfield Road and Carden Road. They're the main body of locations right there in those three areas. And of course, if we're, people are up to it, towards it, right at the end of it, once we get back to East Dulwich, back onto the football match locations just off Dog Kennel Hill Road. It's a bit of a tricky one, the ones at Dog Kennel Hill Road, the football match locations, because where the changing rooms were, that you see mum outside shouting Arsenal, Arsenal as the players come out onto the pitch. That is now right, sort of like it's covered in trees, and it's right at the where would it be? It'd be like the south western corner of Sainsbury's. There is a path that runs along behind Sainsbury's, but I don't think that was there the last time I went down there and took photographs. I don't think that path was actually there then. It was just basically shrubs and all that. But looking at Google Maps now, it looks like there's an actual path or walkway there. That's exactly as I seen it. Well, having said that, when you go down onto the walkway now, it's just like a muddy verge that I'm looking at right now. I'm on there just now, just surveying it. But I don't know whether that has actually been cemented over and they've actually got a actual path there. If there is an actual path there now, then it would be walkable to go around in that direction and up the path then, because it would take us up where it does look like a path when you look at the overhead views. It does look like an actual path that's been put down. And that is more up to date than if you go down to ground level, it's more a photograph that somebody took in 2014, which would be maybe about 2-3 years before I visited, maybe 2-3, maybe 4 years before I visited. So that path might actually have went down since I actually visited, which would be handy, because then we could actually go along and look at the rear of the Sainsbury's as well. Just try and look at this from another angle. Yeah, so I found another angle, and it does look like a path has been built there now, which is good. So it is doable to walk around the rear of the Sainsbury's to around the area where the actual dressing rooms were. So that's one that we can maybe decide on the day how people are feeling physically, if they feel up for that extra little bit of a walk to go around to the rear of the Sainsbury's to where the dressing room would have been for the football match. Unfortunately, you can't just see that from the car park that's there now, because you've got the big massive Sainsbury's and fencing all down the side there, so you need to walk round to the rear of the Sainsbury's. So keep any questions coming in that you might have about the walking tour. You've just joined, save me going through it all again. If you scroll up to the top of the chat, you'll see I've put down all the details of it right there for you. And if you scroll further down, I do mention the episodes covered as well that will be taken in. I'll hang around in case there's anybody joining late who wants to ask any questions. What it was, Fox, was that the football ground used to be owned by Sainsbury's. I think the local Sunday team that played in a league and used to use it for training purposes and for matches, and as like a just as a multi-purpose sort of like training area and, for the employees. They sold that on. Obviously, they sold it and redeveloped it into a Sainsbury's store that stands there to this day. So imagine that the land was always owned by Sainsbury's for them to have owned the football ground, the pitch that they played on. Or at least I know that the employees used it for training purposes and for football matches, obviously for some kind of league that they played in, whatever league that was. The massive clue to this location and finding it was the flats in the background that run up the side of Dog Kennel Hill. And that was a big giveaway, and the fact that there was a football pitch right in the corner of shot as well, which you see when the ladies team run out onto the pitch. You see the stand of East Dulwich, Dulwich Hamlet, sorry, football stadium there. Yep, as I say, since I last visited there, Fox, looks like there's like an actual concrete path has been laid down around the rear of the Sainsbury's, whereas it was just like a muddy walkway where people had walked across a grassy expanse. And it just a muddy walkway, but it looks like they've now put down a concrete path, which would be really ideal for being able to get to the location where the dressing room was. Of course, it all depends on how fit people feel at the end of the walk to walk that little bit extra distance to get to that location as well. Heading now, it's in a really heavily sort of like there's lots of trees around in that area and bushes and stuff like that. It's right next to what is a block of small flats as well. So it's a very confined space, but it's handy that there's a path that leads right there now. I remember when I went to take photographs for it, there certainly wasn't an actual physical path that was there. It was just that muddy walkway through a grassy expanse to get to that little part of where the dressing rooms were. Okay, so anyone got any questions? Anyone that want to post up again, as I say, that they're interested in coming, then that would be great as well. Every little bit helps, knowing how many is going to be there. It helps me plan things a little bit better. Or anyone got any suggestions or tips if you think that there's somewhere a little bit closer that they could start the walking tour from? But as I say, I have sort of like looked into it closely, and East Dulwich is probably the best station to meet up at. I'm just trying to think if there's any other episodes that are also covered in the walking tour. I think that is it though. Olives divorce, goodbye Stan, the allowance, gardening time, hot water, and the football match. I don't think there's any more other than those. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it up now. There's nothing in the way of quite more questions coming in or anything like that. So just a quick rundown of the details. So the date for the on the buses from the locations walking tour will be Sunday, the April the 27th in Peckham. It'll be the first time we've done Peckham. Start at 11:30 a.m. in the morning from East Dulwich Station, taking locations from Olives Divorce, hot water, goodbye Stan, the allowance, gardening time, and the football match. And should take about 3 hours. £10 for adults, £5 for kids between 12 and 18, and pay on the day. So hope to see you all there when it comes around in about just over 2 months' time now. And I'll say goodbye for now, okay? Thanks for everyone for tuning in and asking questions and for all your interest, okay? Bye for now.